Hello, my name is Jingo Nelly, and today we are going to be looking at another tutorial. But before I begin off, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It will bring you some good luck in your forthcoming exams.
Then looking at notices of company meetings, the law insists that the need for directors to give the shareholders full information and detailed disclosures of what is likely to be discussed in the meeting. That is in the case of Anderson versus Bank of Austria, Asia. Like in this case, court held that the shareholders must be given full and sufficient information as to what is likely to be discussed in the meeting. So here, all things must be disclosed in a meeting, and the need for the sufficient information is to see if these directors can either get to attend the meeting or not, because they'll be depending from this notice that everything is that is to be discussed is fully given out in the meeting. I mean, on the notice, yeah. So this notice must be given 21 days before the meeting. So here they're saying the notices conveying meetings must be sent to the members within the pre-described within the time prescribed by the Companies Act. That is 21 days before the meeting, and every notice must be in writing, or otherwise the notice is void. So here something to note: the nature of the notice here, it should be in writing. Then they are further on, they are saying, however, if a shareholder is given and all the members attend the meeting, like if they're saying, however, if a shorter notice is given, all the members and all the members attend the meeting, there the meeting will be valid than when the meeting than when a shorter notice is given and some of the members get to miss out. So it will tend to be void, yeah, because they can go and appeal to court to say that they were having limited time to prepare and stuff. So here we are having several cases with this, but let me start with the one of in the case of Bailey versus Oriental Telephone Electronic Company Limited. Here, special resolutions were passed in a meeting, which resolutions permitted the alteration of the articles of association of the company to prove the directors keeping of payments they had received in breach of trust. So the notice, however, that conveyed the meeting at which these resolutions were passed had not given the details of the amount of money that the directors had received. So the plaintiff shareholder sued on his behalf and on the behalf of other shareholders for delegation for declaration that the resolutions were not binding on the grounds that there had not been sufficient notice of the meeting at which the resolutions had been passed. So here, hence the sufficient notice of the meeting at which the resolutions had been passed. uh, I've repeated myself. Hence the resolutions could not be acted upon. So the Court of Appeal agreed on this basis that the notice in issue did not give su- sufficiently full and frank disclosure to the shareholders of the acts upon which they were asked to vote, and the resolutions were therefore not binding. Okay, all in all, in this a summary of this case, you should note that there was no full disclosure of the entire information that of what the meeting was going to be about. Yeah? So the notice did not give enough information, and we well know that directors are not entitled to receive payment, yeah, or money. So they had done this, yeah. They had given themselves money and they had breached that trust. So that's when they had decided to maybe call for a meeting to maybe discuss on that, so that they can take this money which they are taken wrongfully. And to do with that, they had not disclosed all the information of what the meeting was going to be about. So some of the members missed out, and these guys passed on certain things to share money, you get, in their own interest, which is not which made that meeting void, or which made that meeting void. So that is that. With that, I'm going to hand another case. So there's another case here. We're having in the case of Kaye versus Croydon Trimways company. Here, one of the issues to be discussed at the company's meeting was whether or not to approve a particular agreement in which the directors stood to gain. Now here, the directors were to gain something, yeah. So the secretary sent out a vague circular for the meeting, and the members asked the secretary to provide further information as how the directors stood to benefit, you get, yeah, because as I told you, directors are not supposed to benefit in terms of payments, and I think here it was showing that, but this was not complied with, so the secretary was not able to do this. So the issue was whether the meeting and the agreement adopted were valid, you get. It was not valid. So court held that the notice was insufficient, and therefore the agreement upon adopted at the meeting could not be valid, yeah? As I had said, until sanctioned by a proper company's meeting duly conveyed for that purpose, you get, yeah? So the secretary releasing this circular having vague information, or information that is not showing, which is not disclosing everything, made it not to be valid. So that is that with that case. Looking on at some other case. So here we have another case of Tyson versus Anderson. The meeting of the company was to consider alternative schemes of reconstructing a company which was in financial difficulties. Yeah, so that was a company which was in financial difficulties. So the scheme adopted was one in which one of the directors had a strong interest, which was not disclosed in the notice. So the director had a strong interest, which was not disclosed in the notice. So one of the shareholders appealed to court to have the resolution set aside. So court held that a shareholder, after investing his money in a company which is in financial difficulties, has to consider whether or not the scheme proposed is the best scheme. So the notice conveying the meeting must thus be sufficient, full and specific to ensure that the shareholder receiving it to decide whether to attend or not. It must give fair warning and fair chance. So the court in this case concluded that it is not protecting the descendants, that is a shareholder who isn't interested, but a shareholder who is absent as a result of not having received a notice, but concludes that he will not oppose the matter for discussion, leaving it for the majority to decide. So here in this case it shows that the court, they are not protecting any member who decides to be absent in a meeting, but they are protecting those who get to only like read the notice, and they get to base from it that these are the only issues that are going to be discussed in the meeting, and leaving it for the majority to decide, you get, yeah? And it may not require him or her to fully go there to give his own appeal, you get. So that's why they're saying they're not protecting the descendants, that is a shareholder who is not interested, yeah? But they're protecting that who is basing his him or her going to the meeting because of the notice that he has received having full information. Because when the notice having full information, you can try to go and attend or not. So moving on to quorum. Quorum of the meeting, that is the procedure, attendance and voting at the meetings, whereby we are going to be looking at the quorum and other things, voting at meetings, duties of a chairman. Yeah. So looking at quorum, for quorum, this is the number of members which is needed for a meeting to be held. Then for any particular quorum, like for example, private companies, the quorum is 2, and for public companies, the quorum is 3. That is, if at all the articles of associations are silent. But if at all they are not silent, any company can set its own quorum from the articles of association, and they choose like maybe to choose their to take their own quorum, like a quorum of 10, something like that. So further on, however, one member can constitute a quorum where they like under court order or when the court allows it, yeah? And there this court can even declare a quorum of one person to be sufficient for a meeting. So this was seen in Uganda Yedembe publications, where Amina chased away these Indians. We looked at that case previously. Then I'm moving on to duty of chairman or chairperson. So with this, remember we are trying to see the procedure, tendency, and voting at meetings. So here, once you're having your quorum, you get to choose a person who's going to chair this meeting. Yeah? So this is to do with the duty of a chairman. What we are going to look at next. So now looking at the duty of the chairman, the chairperson of a meeting may be elected by members present at the meeting, or the articles of association. They get something. They usually stipulate who shall be the chairperson at the meeting. For instance, like table A and articles 55 to 56 indicate that the chairman of the board of directors, if present and willing, shall be the chair, and in case he is absent, or if the members so wish, a chair may be elected by the members present from among themselves. So this person, it's either indicated in the articles of association, or the members can get to elect their own chairperson at the meeting if at all the person who was in the articles of association is not around. Yeah. So then the duties of this person is to ensure proper and orderly conduct of the meeting, proper conduct of the business. No, it is ensuring proper and orderly conduct of the meeting, then also regulating the proceedings and giving them clarity of the meeting, like making the members understand the meeting, and also is responsible for timekeeping. Then we are having a case of National Dueling Society, whereby a court held that it was unquestionable the duty of the chairman to perceive order and to take care of the proceedings that are conducted in a proper manner, and that the sense of the meeting is properly ascertained with regard and to any question before the meeting. So here court held that he is responsible to make sure that he is responsible to keep order in the meeting, and also responsible to take care of any proceedings to be conducted in the meeting. Then it further held that the chairman has no power to take into his own hands decisions which the meeting has competent to decide. So that is with the duty of chairman or chairperson. Then moving to voting at meetings.
Thank you so much for watching. make sure you subscribe to the channel.